What's up, everybody? This is actually the third video I've made this morning, but only the first one I'm going to release. I've been doing a lot of thinking about 3i Atlas. I'm actually watching a video and speculation on it, and just heard some of the spectrographic data about the materials it's releasing, the fact that it's releasing carbon compounds and organic material, which is actually a byproduct of silicate life. I'm wondering if what came through our solar system didn't come through for curiosity at all. This video says that there were three objects, the first one being called Zero, and then later Oumuamua, and now 3i Atlas. Now, I did a search, even using an AI, and could not find any reference to any recognized astronomical data collaborating the existence of an object named Zero coming however many years ago. But I can't confirm or deny its existence. But Oumuamua and 3i Atlas coming through, if they are silicate life forms, they would not be curious. Curiosity is a dangerous thing. It leads you away from a path of pure and total survival. It's risk. Now, if you are an eternal entity, if you evolved in or as a meteorite, a giant lump of rock, much closer to the center of the galaxy, where there's a hell of a lot more energy and a hell of a lot more heat and pressure, you only get one life. If you're an asteroid, a silicate asteroid, you evolve within yourself. The processes simply adapt and refine over time, and you absorb and consume energy from your environment to grow yourself. But that is all you get. You get one self, just one. So you are never, and I quite honestly mean there is nothing that is ever going to motivate an entity like this to lead away from anything that is just 100% going to continue their survival. So think about a whale, all right, let's just imagine whales don't travel in pods. There's just one giant ocean, and there are all these tiny little patches of plankton all over the place. Now, they are massively spread out. So you couldn't travel. Even if you're all the same species, you each have to choose your paths around each star and how to traverse solar systems very, very well. But you also need a way to communicate with each other and communicate where food is. So smaller entities travel around, probably looking for and confirming that there's food in different areas, for then the larger, more slow-moving, older, much older entities to then lumber through. They take their time, they pick their path very, very well to maximize the amount of food and energy they can consume as they pass through their food source to the next one. So something that would be very interesting to do is not so much consider exactly Oumuamua's path through our solar system or where it came from. Let's focus on where it's pointing afterwards, because if it is pointing at the closest star or a very similar white dwarf to ours, then we can quite adequately assume, at least partially, that it's eating and it's heading to a new food source. Because if it evolved in an environment similar to the environment around within our solar system, because you got to remember, this thing evolved in interstellar space, possibly just not or in stellar space as an asteroid around a star much closer to the center of the galaxy. So it looks for similar environments to what it evolved in. Now, perhaps the white dwarf solar systems reflect in many ways the spatial environment that they once existed in, and that's where their food grows. So these clouds of what we think are particles and rocks are actually clouds of silicate life floating around in the ecliptic plane of our solar system around the other planets, because Venus, Mars, and Jupiter all have silicate life. Guaranteed Venus does. So there's clouds of silicate life that live around these planets, but not ours, because all the silicate life's under the ground in the rock. It's part of the planet, and we got carbon-based life. So there's nothing around our planet this thing can consume, which is why it's completely ignoring us and going past the planets that are going to have its food, and then it's just going to travel back out into space, this big old silicate space whale, and look for more collections of plankton around other similar white dwarf stars. So this is what I think it is. I think these space whales, these silicate entities that travel around solar systems, consuming the energy and stuff, actually are able to communicate where food is through little pulses of maybe electromagnetic waves or some form of universal communication we simply don't understand. They may all contain some kind of binary atomic structure within them which link them all together across infinite distances of space, and they can just instantly communicate information back and forth to each other, altering their path ever so slightly, which is why you couldn't see 3i Atlas until recently, because it wasn't there technically until recently. It only changed its path when a Muamua told it there's food here. Yeah, which is why it didn't even appear until after a Muamua was gone, and then suddenly, boom, we've got another one, just comes out of nowhere and is visible and reacting and producing all the stuff that silicate life produces as a byproduct when it's reacting. And here it comes, man. It's setting itself up. That gas and stuff around it could be its digestive system that it's pushing out from itself in preparation to feed. Which is why we couldn't see it before, because it wasn't preparing before. This actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it. We just gotta forget the fact that we think we're alone, because the cosmos is absolutely teeming with life. There are entities which consider it a problem. It is so prolific. So yeah, but there we go. Giant silicate space whales communicating with each other where food is. Pretty cool, right?